Do you believe that what the Israeli government and Israeli forces, the IDF, are doing is counterproductive, intolerable and appalling?
Yes, but I think more importantly, it's a question of, is what Keir Starmer's saying meaningful, or is it just hollow words? British government is still supplying parts to the F-35 stealth fighter, which drops 2,000-pound bombs with a 100-meter radius that eviscerates everything within a 100-meter radius, man, woman, child. We still supply that, despite the claims that we didn't. And then basically the Starmer capitulated that we do. And we also run reconnaissance trips that surveils Gaza and provides that information to Israel. So we are directly contributing to the actions of the Israeli government against the people of Gaza.
I mean, I would say hurrah. I'm really, really glad that we are helping our ally with the distribution of aid. But should we be condemning Israel over the handing out of aid when their reasons for taking control of the aid are pretty justified, given the concerns that Hamas has been basically stealing the aid, selling it to people, using it to fund their war effort against Israel?
Well, Julia, there's no evidence to support that claim.
Yes, there is.
No, there isn't. So the UN came out and said that there's no evidence for that.
Oh, well, in that case.
The World Food Program, which is run by the former Senator McCain's wife, not some, pro-Hamas or whatever you'd like to say. Nobody is saying that that's happened. The only people that's saying that's happened is Israel, because now what we see is they're not distributing aid. They created, and you saw this in the UN, you saw this with the BBC, you saw the UN report on this. 3 consecutive days, they called people hungry, desperate people, and then they mowed them down. So despite their claims that they didn't, the evidence now, I mean, David Mencer even admitted to it yesterday on Piers Morgan, saying they came menacingly towards the IDF.
No. Okay, there's a very big difference between what the IDF, the Israeli government, has admitted to, which is that they claim, again, well, we should always use the word claim on all sides. I don't trust everything any government says, but I definitely don't trust anything a terrorist organisation says. And when the BBC,
the BBC, the UN,
Hamas, where do you think the BBC and Sky and everyone else are getting their information from? Hamas.
Why do you think it's coming from Hamas?
Because it is coming from Hamas. It's coming from their house
on the ground.
Ashok,
they don't allow any journalists. Would you call yourself, Julia? Would you call yourself a journalist? Do you see yourself as a journalist? They have not allowed any journalists in. So then what it allows people to say is any claims that come out of Gaza are
like
Hamas.
You two say. No, let me finish the point. IDF has admitted, they've confirmed, that their soldiers say they were approached by people. You know as well as I do that Hamas has been caught lying about these things repeatedly. There is video footage put out by the aid agency showing that no shooting took place at the time they said it took place.
Julia, this must be exhausting. I've been coming on the show for 4 or 5 years before October 7th. There was a time where you weren't a full propagandist for the state of Israel. When did this happen? This is absurd. Every single claim they make, you defend so vociferously.
No, I've said I don't trust any claim made by a government.
You were a sober-minded. Of course, we had disagreements, but I come on the show and I expect you to you're just an extension. You're like the Japanese soldier fighting that fight after World War II
I don't take.
And other Israeli officials have already admitted this.
I don't take everything.
Fighting the good fight. You haven't gotten the memo, Julia.
I don't take everything the Israeli government says as gospel, but the BBC and many organisations take everything Hamas says as gospel.
Tell me one thing that you disagree with the Israeli government.
I have no idea what happened and how those people died because we haven't got evidence. But what we do have is video footage of the time at which we were told. But there are so many places where there is war currently. There are so many places there have been wars in recent years where we haven't seen people doing a demonstration outside Parliament every day, standing up in Parliament talking about it, on the TV, aid agencies castigating it and taking sides. We didn't see that. We haven't seen that, in Sudan. We haven't seen that in what's been going on in Yemen. We haven't seen that in what went on in Syria. Why is there this unique obsession with victims in Gaza?
Well, I mean, the first one is the unique position that Britain finds itself in, that Britain is the direct contributor to the war effort that Israel is.
1% of weapons used by Israel.
Britain isn't contributing to what's happening in Sudan. Britain isn't contributing to what's happening.
So we don't care about those babies dying.
It's not that we don't. It's not that we don't care.
We don't care about it. Are we discussing it now?
The main demand of the demonstrators and the protesters is that Britain stops its complicity in the genocide. And so
it's not a genocide.
That's not.
If it was a genocide,
again, this is you're still that Japanese fighter fighting.
No, I just know what words mean.
It ended a year ago,
what
Julia.
does genocide mean?
Over.
What does the word mean? Why are they? Wait a minute. Why is Israel giving food aid to Palestinians if they want to kill them?
This is such a fraudulent thing. I can't believe you talk about this every day and you believe this. Israel's restricting the international food aid. Israel doesn't give them food aid.
Israel is now giving them food aid.
They have restricted it for 3 months.
They had 5 months of food aid go in. They had 5 months of supplies when the food aid was cut off. And the reason they say it was cut off was because Hamas was using the food aid as a way of controlling the Palestinian people.
No international organization supports what Israel's saying.
No, they don't.
International organization. Tell me a single international organization.
I agree with you.
You and the Israeli state support that claim. No international organization, whether the UN, the World Food Program, whether it was the Red Cross, no organization supports it.
Ashok, I never said I supported what the Israeli government is doing.
You're saying Hamas steals the food. Nobody claims that and supports that.
Loads of people claim that and support that. Even what's fascinating is
which organization?
Oh, we have
to independent organization.
There's so much evidence coming out.
There's so many organizations that
video footage of it being stolen. There are first-hand accounts from people in Gaza.
Tell me one organization.
You know that an awful lot of these aid agencies
Give me one organization, Julia, please.
Why does it have to be an organization?
Tell me one independent.
A lot of organizations that have been involved in Gaza.
You can't name
anyone. The reason why they're a problem is because they have Hamas members. Even UNRWA
has Hamas. Hamas have got the opportunity, because they've got a closed environment where there are no international journalists in there, to make sure that the information that leaves Gaza is only information that they want. I have personally looked at videos where I've seen the same child reported killed 3 to 5 times. The same adults done. I have seen videos of Hamas, whenever they're saying that it's been reported that there's mass starvation, standing beside piles and piles of food and firing mortars and weapons at the Israeli forces. The international aid organisations that are inside Gaza get their information from the Gaza Ministry of Health, which is run by Hamas. If they do not put out the information that is provided to them, then either their international workers, but actually their international workers are more concerned about their local workers, are
they're
tortured,
largely Palestinian staff.
They're all, most of them are Palestinian staff, are tortured, are bullied, are shot. And murdered. And that has been, all of the intelligence agencies, I'm not just talking about British and American, but French and German and Israeli as well, but other intelligence agencies around the world can see that. The Arab intelligence agencies can see it, which is why none of the Arab countries want to touch anyone coming out of Gaza. And
why Egypt has not opened their border.
Correct.
Okay, what do you say to that, Ashok Kumar?
What? That you saw piles of food? You should report to the BBC. Nobody's reporting this. I mean, did you also see the 40 beheaded babies, Philip? I mean, like,
no,
this is
again, no one reputable reported
There's
that.
nobody the same baby 3 times.
No one reported.
Where have you seen this? Like, give me a media agency that's run this story. This is a fantasy. You're a fantasist.
It has been
not true.
It has been all over Twitter, and I'm not a fantasist. I analyze information.
It's all over Twitter. Okay, well, you get your news from WhatsApp as well.
Ashok.
Tell me a news agency that's reporting this.
Just because, listen, an awful lot of people are getting their news from the BBC. We're not necessarily getting news from